Argus out of power tonight as well. Let's go back to Julienne's shot. I want to stay on that. Thank you for the update, Kristen. But we can stay on Julienne's shot as long as possible. We're starting to see again that storms that are just now moving in right now, right on the cusp. I know we're waiting, but here we are. We're getting very close. Here we are, 8:01. 8:01 as we're watching things very closely as this wall of wind is expected to move across. Argus power has been knocked out. So if you're anywhere along Indiana 10 and you're listening right now, so it would be Old Tiptown, Bourbon, Etna Green, all very concerning as you can see the lightning picking up there in the Bremen area. Live coverage right now. Kristen, you have a comment.
Dave Caulfield just told me that they lost power in Culver as well.
Power loss in Culver and Argus, and that really means the concern also south there, again, towards Old Tiptown, Bourbon, and Etna Green. Storms are headed your way as well. Damaging wind pushing across Marshall County looks to be the worst of it right now as I continue to watch on radar. The rain now arriving in Bremen. The good news there is we're not seeing an extreme push of wind there that might be good news for the north half of this line that may not be quite as severe, but we definitely have the rain that is arriving there as I'm watching on the radar very soon here about what's about to roll in. But again, if you're watching along with us, the rain has now moved into Bremen and the wind should be just following it according to the radar picture. But if you're anywhere along the 331 corridor from Bremen all the way down to Bourbon and Old Tiptown, get inside away from windows as we are concerned about strong wind moving into that area. So that is the area of concern, at least right now, under this warning, and an area of a possible tornado moving into the Bourbon and Etna Green area. We'll come back from the picture of Julienne. Let's stay there. Do we see the wind kind of picking up there? Definitely worsened a little bit as we see the lightning there and the wind that has moved in. We're not seeing anything too severe at the moment. The flags are whipping there, but the worst of that is likely moving into Bremen. So that gives us clues of how bad is it along this line. The radar predicts one thing, but it sometimes takes that ground truth to really see what is happening. See the rain that is pouring there, but at least at the moment that tree doesn't look to be bending over or getting worse. It looks like the wind is picking up a little bit, but that's good news, and I need you to come back to the radar picture for me, though, as we're focused just to the south of Bremen into the Bourbon area. If you're in Bourbon, get to your safe spot now. Bourbon, Etna Green, damaging wind, possible tornado right through here, moving into Bourbon, so just south. And we'll tell this to Julienne. She can get packed up from Bremen, get everything ready, but we'll likely be heading towards the Bourbon area with her to confirm more damage in this area, Bourbon or Argus, because it looks, again, this looks a lot nastier within this red polygon in Bourbon, where you see the areas of dark blue. We also have confirmation. We watched a in-dot camera likely lose power in Argus, and the wind blowing across basically Indiana 10, Bourbon to Etna Green right now, approaching Indiana 19, that spot where we may have very strong wind gusts in excess of 70 miles per hour. And this is moving roughly in line with the radar picture. So we're looking for any reports that come in. Right now, again, reports have been few and far between as we continue to watch things fairly closely here. But this spot right here, let's do a quick sample, estimating wind in excess of 90 miles per hour near Bourbon. So right through here along Lincoln Highway, so that's Old 30, New 30, right now south side of town. But if you're in Bourbon, we know it's not very big, you're inside away from windows. This is a damaging area of storms that are moving into the Etna Green and Bourbon area. Bourbon now, Etna Green after that, and it's right through here, favoring likely just to the south of Lincoln Highway, so the south side of town more than the north side of town, but the wind is looking very nasty and very concerning moving into Bourbon. Bourbon right now, the wind has just moved through and blown through the Bourbon area, so that is an area of top concern that we're seeing right now. We're going to go back and forth. I'm just going to see if we get any new information out of the air. We already have confirmed reports of power outages into the Culver area, so we're watching things very closely, at least right now, and to see what's happening into portions of Marshall County, again, under that tornado warning storm into the Bourbon area. There are areas of blue CC, at least right now, so make sure you're going to your safe spot. This looks really nasty on the radar. If you're in Bourbon and Etna Green right now, get to your safe spot now. Leesburg to north of Warsaw would be next. I'm going to go over here. We're going to take a look in through here. There is a little bit of a return here if we go back and forth of what could be debris being picked up right through here near Bourbon. So south side of Bourbon, if there is a tornado, it might be roughly in this area. And I'll go in, it's going to match up a little bit closer. But where we have this area of green and yellow indicating the south side of Bourbon, south of Bourbon down 331, the path of the tornado is likely cutting up and will likely split the difference between Bourbon and Etna Green, crossing Lincoln Highway, crossing US 30. But it looks like the most damaging part on the radar right now is moving through and across Bourbon, across the south and just to the south and east of Bourbon, splitting between Bourbon and Etna Green. We'll go back and we'll look at the radar signature and we'll go inside the storm again, looking at the velocity in through here. And again, this just looks really nasty as you see that bullseye of blue. And then there it is. There's the split. There's the next radar update. If there's a tornado on the ground, it has split and now moving to the north and east of Bourbon right now. To the north and east of Bourbon is going to be our area of concern right in through here. So it's right through here. It's moved to the east of Bourbon. Just north of Etna Green, there's the dog leg there as we're south of Napanee as 19 makes that dog leg. So if you're around kind of the dog leg on 19 as you head south of Napanee, almost to Etna Green, that is the danger zone. Get to your safe spot now inside away from windows. Kristen.
Yes, several confirmations that Bourbon has lost power.
Power loss in Bourbon. We did not see that happen in Bremen. Things stayed closer, but we're watching the same line. But our area of top concern right now, if there is a tornado, it's likely somewhere in this area. This has been a nasty part of the storm that has knocked out power from Culver to Argus to Bourbon, and now between Etna Green and Napanee, about to move into Kosciuszko County. If you're anywhere in the dog leg of 19 in Kosciuszko County, between Napanee and Etna Green, inside, away from windows, get to your safe spot now. Other roads of note, this looks like 800 north and then west 650 north. So there's 650 north and this is 800 west. I'm sorry, the northern portion of 800 west. Around that intersection as well is where a possible tornado may be on the ground. I want to go out and kind of reset our situation and show you what's going on. The worst of the weather has moved through South Bend and moved through most of Mishawaka. So that is the good news there. There is currently a tornado warning and a severe thunderstorm warning for embedded pockets of wind up to 70 miles per hour. I'm trying to kind of stay on top of everything. There's a lot going on all at the same time, but here is the current setup. South Bend, not under a warning. South of Mishawaka, not including Granger, not really Elkhart, but the city of Goshen, down towards Syracuse, and then Warsaw, all under this warned part of the storm for wind up to 70 miles per hour. A tornado warning for what we call radar indicated, meaning no one has seen a tornado, but we now have a path of damage. That is our current situation here at 8:09. If you're in LaPorte County, Stark County, Pulaski County, your severe weather is done. If you're in Berrien County, we're not worried about you, but we are worried about this whole cluster of lightning in through here and what is currently ongoing. And you can kind of see this current movement here. The storm's now clear of the Plymouth area, but this is the polygon, and it's really right through here, south of Napanee. But I'll tell you right now, as I'll kind of run along 19 corridor, I am concerned about damaging wind right now, anywhere from Wakarusa crossing 19, Napanee, your area, so eventually New Paris, stand by, anywhere along the 15 corridor of Indiana 15, New Paris, Leesburg. If you live between Indiana 19 and Indiana 15, that's Elkhart and Kosciuszko County, you need to be inside away from windows right now, and that is a top concern. But the nastiest notch and area on the radar is under this tornado warning right here that has now moved through the Etna Green area. And again, it's right through here that we're starting to see the area blue crossing Napanee. We're now seeing maybe more of a fanning out where this is a little bit less of discrete tornado target, but we are seeing now a new expansion of the tornado warning, and it's likely going to be an expansion of that same spot. As expected, tornado warning now from Etna Green to Leesburg. Etna Green to Leesburg, right through there is my area of top concern. We're going to stay on this focus right here until I can get a storm track for all our folks that are currently under this polygon. Again, this is our area of top concern that we're seeing right now. As we continue to focus in on this portion of the storm with this latest update here. So again, a new tornado warning. Tornado warning now ending in Etna Green, but on towards Leesburg. Leesburg, you're now under new threat. This goes until 8:45. So our damage path of at least greatest damage, at least at this moment, has been from Culver to Argus to Etna Green on towards Leesburg and eventually North Webster. Will be those areas that we will focus in on. So I'm going to reset here and we'll kind of go through everything before we zoom in down to street level. Here's the active warning. Here's the new tornado warning that now includes out to Syracuse, cutting across Kosciuszko County. That's the area of warning. We're watching that fairly closely. It's actually headed towards the National Weather Service of Northern Indiana as well. And there are, again, some targets in there that are of definite concern as this moves closer. So if you're anywhere in northern Kosciuszko County, I want you inside, away from windows right now. The severe threat is ending in South Bend. It's ending in Mishawaka. That worst is really put through, but really we're kind of seeing a very targeted portion of this storm that is currently moving through right now, and this is our area of concerns. I kind of reset our camera shots at the moment. But this is the area. Kristen, you have an update.
Yes, we do have a tornado warning in Elkhart in Kosciuszko.
Yes, for southern Elkhart County, that's Millersburg and New Paris around the Syracuse area, likely just southeast of New Paris. New Paris not under a tornado warning, but if you were south of Millersburg, you are under that tornado warning, and this is the nasty spot right through here. And if anything, it's right here that I would probably be top concern. This is around 900 north, doglegging through here. The fact that there's a little bit of a notch on the radar on this line of very strong wind, everywhere in here is strong wind. When you see this going from green to red, there is strong 70-mile-per-hour wind along this line. But we're along 900 north as it tees into 425 west. If you're in this area, this is rural Kosciuszko County, this would be the spot where I'd be most concerned about a tornado. And notice how we go from kind of nothing into very bright blue. That is that wall of wind and possible spin-up tornado scenario that is currently ongoing right in this spot. So this is where that danger is. If you're in near the Leesburg area right now, that's going to be our area of top concern, at least at this moment, as we continue to watch things fairly closely, as this spot is the spot on the radar of danger. So if I zoom out a little bit wider, we can now really see there's probably just one discrete spot where we have the strong wind, and it's right through here. And it's going to move on towards Leesburg, Syracuse, and North Webster. So we're continuing to watch things very closely, but Leesburg's 816, Warsaw northwards where the worst of the wind is, Warsaw at 817, Syracuse at 821, and North Webster at 823. So this may be transitioning from the discrete tornado possibility to more of that widespread fanning out of straight line wind spreading across the northern half of Kosciuszko County and the southern half of Elkhart County, primarily south of Goshen. Not saying Goshen is going to experience storms, but this is the most severe spot on the radar. We have an update from meteorologist Dave Caulfield, who I believe is in La Paz right now. Dave, you have an update for us?
Yeah, so Tom, we are making our way towards US 31 right now. Just went through Walkerton and also the La Paz area on US 6. So we're about to get on US 31 southbound, so we'll check out what's going on potentially in Argus, and if we need to, we'll head back towards Culver. The rain continues, and that's something that we really need to watch as we transition sort of out of the severe part of this, because when we had the thunderstorms this morning, we had an inch to an inch and a half of rain, and that sort of set the stage for, no matter what happened here, for us to be in a potential flooding situation. Now, we haven't seen any warnings just yet, but it is something that we're concerned about. Also, when you saturate the ground like this, we're also talking about the potential of the winds not having to be as strong to cause tree damage, because if the ground is saturated, then you have the ability for those trees to fall easier than if the dry ground was in place and the roots were in a good place. So that's what we're looking at here. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, as we go to try and see if there is damage, is how fast these things can spin up. So this is why we keep emphasizing tornado warning, severe thunderstorm warning. We're sort of talking about the same thing in a situation like this, because winds will be damaging no matter if they're swirling or if they're straight line. And sometimes you can transition from one to the other very, very quickly. So the point here stands that wind is likely strongest just north of where that tornado warning is, with the potential for 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts to be about to head into New Paris and Benton Township as well.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. And important, I'm just checking our Facebook live feed too, is the people are, in Simonton Lake and Elkhart, they're saying, hearing the sirens going off, and that's true. Tornado warning sirens, as soon as it triggers a county, the whole county sirens go off. So it's not discrete. It's not as precise as the warning box. It's not as precise as your first warning neighborhood weather app. And this is why the warnings go off. They're trying to give you warning to give you more information, and we're giving you that more information of where that threat is, as Dave was mentioning. Going back to here, the threat ending in St. Joseph County will soon be ending in Marshall County, though still raining, but that wind threat is now expanding across LaGrange County and on into Noble County. This will likely be clear of the area by 9 o'clock, but it's really kind of this wedge in here in this highlighted tornado warning that is our area of concern. These storms are moving very quickly, 60 to 70 miles per hour, and it's right through here. Now concerned New Paris to Millersburg, even in Goshen, likely strong wind. But the south side of Goshen, I know we have Blake Parker. We're trying to direct her in the back. I would tell her to pack up and get ready, and I want her to go towards Goshen and eventually New Paris, and we'll kind of see if there's damage within there. That's probably the best direction for her to go. Kristen Tyler, you have an update.
Yes, reports of pea-sized hail in Elkhart and the St. Joseph County line, just north of Edison and County Road 12.
So we are hearing about hail, and again, severity of storms a little bit farther towards the north as I'll kind of go along this. And again, we've had some storms move through Elkhart and Bristol. We're not getting an overwhelming number of reports. And again, we're on Facebook Live right now as well. If you live somewhere that you just got rocked with damage, let us know. Bring it to our attention. We want to know about it because this helps us get out that first warning. But right now, again, we can see a bowing here of this line, Millersburg. Inside, away from windows. I don't care if you're under a tornado warning or not. Millersburg, Syracuse, Leesburg, everyone there. Inside, away from windows, safe spot now. This is the area of strong damaging wind. It's in through here. Notice how there's a huge uptick of lightning strikes south of Goshen. It's moving through New Paris. It is moving towards Millersburg. Millersburg, within the next 5 minutes, this storm will be moving into your area right now with damaging wind. Damaging wind right through this area. I'll highlight it here on the radar picture, and you can really see it in the reflectivity. This is staying just to the north of likely North Webster, but this would be the point. So right now, New Paris, Syracuse 823, Millersburg 826, on towards Ligonier and Eden after that, and starting to clear the area. We have a shot out of Ligonier. Let's take that for a second, though. We won't see the worst of it yet, but that is interesting to look at as well. And we may stay on that as we'll see the storms push through on towards Ligonier. But you can see the rain that has moved through there. Also interesting is that we're seeing the damaging wind follow some of this rain. Usually the rain that if it proceeds, it takes a punch out of these storms, and that is not the case right now. We're going to go in. I'm going to take a closer look at the radar picture. It's very discreet along here, but this is kind of that wall of wind, and we are right up against the radar in North Webster. This is about the best sampling you're going to get from the radar. You got to think about if the radar site were a police officer tracking your speed in a car. This is a very close distance that we're getting a good sample of the radar gun right at the target. And so we're sampling 70-mile-per-hour wind from Leesburg up towards the New Paris, Millersburg area in Syracuse. But this is coming right at North Webster, so a line of wind, and that's why the warning is extended out for damaging wind. But this is now approaching the Indiana 13 corridor. If you live anywhere along Indiana 13 from Barbie Lake up towards Syracuse, Millersburg, in southeastern Elkhart County, also again, we mentioned that heads up in Ligonier, which will likely be focused on here soon because the storms continue to move off in that direction. Currently a warning that includes LaGrange County for wind up to 70 miles per hour. And we have that tornado warning until 8:45. 8:45, that includes the Syracuse area. Kristen.
Just got a comment in the Facebook Live that said someone said that they saw a tornado in Plymouth. It hasn't been confirmed with the National Weather Service yet, but we did just have someone just say it.
I'm more concerned, again, if they want to follow up their comments, if they found any damage. For most people in the Facebook comments, I'm concerned about if you have damage to report. That really helps us verify kind of where the worst of it is. So if you are watching now and the storms have moved through, I'm interested if you've lost power, if there are more trees down. It might be tough, but I'm looking for anything that is new as far as damage goes. Tornado warning has now expired, so that's good. That's been canceled early because there's no longer a discrete target for a spinning threat. That's an official term, but it's more so because of the straight line wind threat. Let's cycle through as we now have new warning updates to get to. And you can see here on the map, the areas in orange are the severe thunderstorm warning. So we're watching that very closely. The areas in orange being the severe thunderstorm warnings that are currently ongoing, and that is now expanding from eastern Elkhart and Kosciuszko County on into LaGrange County. And we'll have to stay on air at least as part of this line moves into LaGrange County for our new threat. So if you are watching now, LaPorte, Stark, Pulaski County, your severe threat is over. The watch will eventually expire. St. Joseph County, Marshall County, Fulton County, your threat is ending. Still ongoing, Elkhart County, Kosciuszko County, on into Noble and LaGrange County. The threat is spreading. You can see this is the active weather, and it continues to push northeast at 70 miles per hour. So this is a serious line of thunderstorms ongoing. Cluster of lightning along the county line, and the worst of it right near the Millersburg area. So I'm going to go from Syracuse up to Millersburg. This is kind of missed Goshen. But Middlebury to Millersburg, Shipshewana, Clear Springs Township, LaGrange, be ready for, again, a very nasty line of storms. But right through here, this now looks to be the worst of it, moving through Millersburg right now. If you're in Millersburg, inside, away from windows, get to your safe spot. This is a damaging round of wind topping 70 miles per hour, and this is now the updated storm track. So if you're following along with us, we've kind of watched this wall of wind evolve. It is not as widespread as what we had on Sunday, but it's been a little bit more discreet, and it's gone from Medearyville and Pulaski County, cut across Marshall County and Stark County, and now is entering LaGrange County after cutting across northern Kosciuszko and southern Elkhart County. So there's likely going to be an uptick of damage south of Goshen, south of Middlebury, Millersburg, on to Clear Springs Township. So as we head on towards the Indiana 9 corridor, from Indiana 13 to Indiana 9. If you live close to Indiana 9 in LaGrange County, you're on standby. I need you inside away from windows right now. The worst part of this storm is currently moving through Millersburg. Severe thunderstorm warning with wind up to 70 miles per hour is our area of concern. We're not seeing it bright on the radar right now because it's right lined up with the radar, but that's the demarcation. That line right through there is where the strongest wind is. Kristen Tyler.
Yes, just reports of 3 semis flipped on US 30 and Cedar. This is from the Bremen police, and other people are also confirming that happened as well.
I'm not sure where Cedar is. If you can give me a better location of that, maybe better location. Just look that up. But again, if it's coming from the Bremen Post, it's likely somewhere in the Bremen area. Oh, probably Cedar Road. Yeah. So Cedar, you said Cedar Road in US 30. So okay, so that's damage near there. So again, that's near the Bremen area that we likely saw. Cedar and US 30. So that's going to be down around the Bourbon area. So that's exactly where Julianne should be going. Cedar and US 30. You said US 30, correct?
Yes, also said by Bourbon.
Yes. So the Bourbon area, we have a crew headed to the Bourbon area right now where a possible tornado and definitely strong straight line wind has moved through. So that makes a lot of sense. That matches up with what we saw on the radar, and currently what we're seeing on the radar is that same kind of wall of wind, though not as widespread as Sunday, as now from North Webster up to Millersburg. Again, it's not as discrete as what we saw before. The good news is, again, the worst of this weather is now clear from our west. We're clear of any severe weather for South Bend, and we're now really just focused on LaGrange County. LaGrange County is now our new focus as this wind is now just starting to move in. Producer in the All right, just one second. We'll kind of reset this warning situation right now. Here's what's currently ongoing, and then I'll kind of go back to a looping radar. And we've seen the storms that have rolled through tonight. And at one point, about 30 minutes ago, the worst of this line was moving through Culver and Argus. And we have a shot coming in out of Argus tonight. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield in the mobile weather tracker currently moving in and still seeing that pouring rain as we continue down US 31. So there is still probably a minor flooding threat right now as well, at least temporarily. But again, just pouring rain still currently coming in as we head down 31. We're into the construction zone. Looks like we're coming into portions of southern, the southern portion of Marshall County right now as we head towards the Argus area. Numerous cloud to ground lightning strikes. Great light show there. So we're not completely safe for everybody to go outside and assess their damage. We definitely want you inside there, but we are currently headed south on 31. We're south of Plymouth, headed towards Argus. And we'll come back to the radar picture here. Now we're focused in on the worst of the radar that has now moved out of Syracuse, and it's now moving into LaGrange County. If you're in LaGrange County right now, Shipshewana to LaGrange, up towards the Howe area, this is beginning to spread northeastward at 70 miles per hour. So this is kind of the game for the next 20 minutes or so. This is the most dangerous spot on the radar. We have taken you across our area where the worst of the weather is. I know most of our viewers are in the South Bend, Mishawaka area, but we've not experienced really that bad of weather. It is primarily, say, just towards our south, and is now over towards our east. It is cut diagonally across the area. But from Middlebury, Shipshewana, from Millersburg now, Clear Springs, the township there, LaGrange, you should be on standby for a line of strong wind, damaging wind that has been confirmed with multiple areas of damage. And right now, it could be the worst spot that we run into, might in fact be Bourbon that was hit very hard with at least strong wind and the possibility of a tornado. That has yet to be determined. There are currently no tornado warnings, but we are treating this severe storm that I'm tracking right here as if it were a tornado warning. You're inside, you're away from windows. Shipshewana, LaGrange, Lima, Howe, Clear Springs Township, inside away from windows right now. This is approaching Indiana 9 and US 20. Pretty much all of LaGrange County is this wall of wind. It's right along here where we have this very bright area of red, that leading edge of the storm, producing very strong wind. That is the damaging line. Shipshewana, 831. Now, Clear Springs, 834. LaGrange, 837. Lima, Howe, 840. Brighton, 843. Milford Township, 846. So that's the timeline as we move across LaGrange County. by 9 o'clock, most of the severe reports will be over, but I'm hoping we might be able to take some live shots eventually, especially into the Bourbon area, depending on where Julianne is. I mentioned earlier I'm interested in Blake heading from Elkhart down towards New Paris. If you're watching now, and the worst of the weather has moved through, we're currently on Facebook Live. Would really like to hear, again, reports that people are, one, okay, but if you're in New Paris, if you're in Millersburg, if you're in Syracuse or Leesburg, I am interested in you joining us on Facebook Live and commenting what's the impact where you live. Do you have power? Has there been more damage? What's the ongoing situation? Same goes for Bourbon. Let us know. Where are you tonight? Kristen, you have an update.
Yes, there are reports of lots of damage in Bourbon and lots of damage in Plymouth as well.
So more damage in Bourbon and Plymouth tonight as this line has kind of just moved through over the past really hour. Has been very damaged. We've been tracking it since it cut into a portion of Kosciuszko County. We're not seeing the super bright returns because of where we are in orientation to the radar, but again, that wall of wind continues to move through, and then this is the expanded area of concern. Warning for wind up to 70 miles per hour, considerable threat, wind damage, and at any point along this red line here, a tornado can spin up. There's not a target that says, okay, there it is. It is a widespread wall of wind. In LaGrange County, did see damage from the first round of storms, but probably by comparison didn't see as bad. For LaGrange, in LaGrange County, this is probably going to be worse than Sunday. For some of us, we were kind of scathed and we did not see the worst of it, but this is the current ongoing situation. And I'm letting you know, this warning is going to expire soon. It'll just be the warning for LaGrange County. So the severe threat is ending, though there is constant rainfall that we're seeing. Here we're going back to 8:32, and you'll see again, there's the cluster of severe weather moving to LaGrange County. The rain continues, but we are pretty much over with at least severe weather for Berrien, LaPorte, Stark, Pulaski counties, and we're seeing now clear for the 31 corridor as well soon, but cleanup is just starting to begin. But the Bourbon area to Etna Green probably hit very hard by what could be a possible tornado and likely very strong straight line wind. Now the threat has moved on from Millersburg on towards Clear Springs, and I'm going to go just towards the south as we have Kendallville and on towards Ligonier. I want to take a look at that Ligonier shot now as the storms are starting to move in there as well. Definitely area of concern. A good shot there again, kind of on the same line as this, as the line now moves through Ligonier, Indiana 5. So that's along the Indiana 5 corridor, north to south. So that would be online with Shipshewana right now. So watching that fairly closely. Good catch by Ryan in the back to take that camera. As we see that move through, you can see the wind pushing the rain across the street there. So this is Ligonier. This is essentially the same longitude, if you will, as Shipshewana in its placement along Indiana 5. And so we see the lightning that is moving through and a good amount of rain. You see power still on in Ligonier, which is somewhat of a clue. But the worst of that wind is currently moving into LaGrange, and we're just minutes away from LaGrange. You mentioned something about Dave Caulfield's shot. I gotcha. Let's go. Can we take that shot? If we have Dave, Dave is now moving into a very dark Argus tonight, where power is out, probably again for folks. But power out in Argus after it getting rocked by strong wind on the order of 70 miles per hour. We had a tornado warned portion of the line that moved into Argus. And this is the current view as rain continues to come down. It's probably going to take another hour to really get true damage assessments. It is not easy. We are just pulling up on scene, folks, here in the mobile weather tracker with the rest of our crews to seeing what happened, where the worst is. If you're in Argus tonight, you know about it. Again, 1, stay safe. 2, you can post on our Facebook live feed. We're looking to get more information from you. But we're seeing currently a very dark town of Argus tonight as the power is out. Good news is I still see a lot of trees standing and structures there, so that is good news. But this is the area where the strongest wind went through relatively close to relatively close to this area especially, and I think Dave will continue on, maybe explore portions of Argus for damage, and then move on towards the Bourbon area or Culver if we have more damage reports out of there. Kristen, do you have anything on the chat?
Yes. Just got reports that pole lines are down across State Road 19 near 600 North in Kosciuszko County.
Near 600 North, State Road 9, 600 North. So that's going to be just to the north of Bourbon, northeast of Bourbon. That would line up. So that could be a target that Dave could move towards if he goes on from there towards Bourbon and then up Indiana 19 North would be that area. Our crews are kind of all converging at once towards the Bourbon area right now. Do we have any reports coming out of Culver? I do want to know, again, if you live in Culver, if you live in Argus, if you live in the Bourbon or Etna Green area, let us know on our Facebook live feed if you have any damage that you know that you can report. Again, we're trying to verify everything for you as well. But if you're in LaGrange right now, the wind is about to hit 837. So the wind is right on top of you right now in LaGrange. This is the damaging line of thunderstorms about to cross LaGrange, about to move through Howe, and eventually across the rest of the county. So our threat is almost over, but the worst of it is moving through LaGrange County. This is the only active warning right now. If you're currently watching me, inside, away from windows, if you're in LaGrange, if you're in anywhere along Indiana 9 that cuts through the center portion of LaGrange to US 20, this is covering the whole county of LaGrange County. Strong straight line wind is moving through right now. Get inside, away from windows. We treat this with the same respect we do a tornado. It is damaging. It is dangerous. We want you away. If you can get in your basement, I would suggest to do so. At least an interior room away from windows is the best thing to do, as the wind is now moving through LaGrange. You can see the bowing line of the thunderstorms here and moving across US 20. We've been breaking into programming since 7 o'clock because of multiple tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings for wind topping 70 miles per hour. That is our criteria. That is dangerous, life-threatening weather, and that's why we are here. We're starting to get some updates on this, that the threat is now almost clear of at least eastern LaGrange County. So Shipshewana, the worst is now over, but LaGrange, the worst is happening and ongoing right now. That's what you need to know. Here at 8:38, the only real active warning portion of our area is for LaGrange County, far, far southeastern St. Joseph County in Michigan, almost or coming close to at least including portions of the Sturgis area. And we'll kind of mouse around. I'll kind of go up towards that area here. So yeah, just barely including Sturgis along this line, but it seems like a lot of reports of the wind are right through here. You can kind of see right through. There is a notch in here just south of LaGrange. These signatures on these kind of lines always concern me, because this is what we talk about. This is also warned for that possible tornado spin up. And when you start having different portions of this line move a little faster or a little slower, it kind of gets messy in here, and often you can sometimes get a quick spin up tornado. So we may have possibly a tornado warning issued as well, but the threat essentially is the same here. Strong straight line wind that has now moved through LaGrange, could be knocking out power there, and headed towards the US 20 and Indiana 3 intersection in this area. So this continues tonight. This is kind of the worst of the line that is still on the radar and encompassing LaGrange County. So 8:39, severe weather still ongoing. You can see now that radar signature, very nasty from LaGrange to the north of LaGrange and northeast of LaGrange. So again, Indiana 3 and US 20, likely moving towards the Orland area. So this is almost out of our viewing area, and we'll stay on here to at least 8:45. And I want to start gathering some more reports, and let's see what our field crews start bringing in. Kristen Tyler.
Yes, in the Facebook comments, I've seen several people say confirmed tornado in Milford. Just to remind everyone, when we do have notice of confirmed tornadoes, we also need damage reports as well, so we can help confirm that and reflect that on radar as well. We need the damages as well, so we know what we're looking for and where to look.
Correct. You guys saying it's dark out there, just seeing someone post on Facebook confirmed tornado really doesn't say much to us. If you can be specific, like tree down at this street and this street. That's going to get us into the direction of confirming any kind of damage, at least right now. And that threat is now moved through. But what we do now, if you're in their Facebook comments, and I know the Facebook comments often is not a productive place, but we're to the point now that I want to start seeing reports of damage. And I want to know approximately where you are. Are you on the north side or south side of your town? What street? I don't need to come exactly to your house, but we want to be able to tell our field crews, like, hey, it's near this gas station, or it's near this crossroad, this street and this street, where the damage might be, because we want to seek out and find the damage and help your community as well. Severe thunderstorm warning for LaGrange County. This continues on towards the top of the hour, but we are almost clear of severe weather. I'm going to start to kind of be concise here as we kind of wrap things up. I want to kind of go back in time, and I'm going to kind of spin through the past hour to 90 minutes, because we've been on air for a little while. All right, 1 second on the, actually let's take that photo right now. We have a photo of a lightning strike coming out of Elkhart. Again, it's been quite the night of exciting weather for some of our largest viewing areas. So city of South Bend, Mishawaka, and Elkhart, this has not been very eventful. That is a good thing. But for our southern counties, it has. And if I take you back in time, this was 6:45. We started our Facebook Live, and that's the storms as they rolled through. And really what I think we're seeing here is a path of damage that looks like this. And so if you're anywhere kind of close to that line, that does include Plymouth, that does include Culver, Bourbon, Millersburg, this is where that severe weather has gone through. Now I want to take a look at storm reports. We're just now starting to get storm reports coming in. It looks like Bourbon is probably the epicenter of that. But New Paris, estimated wind more than 70 miles per hour. Just want to make sure we have Blake Parker headed towards New Paris. And then an update from the National Weather Service site, North Webster, a wind gust of 52 miles per hour. So it appears what I'm starting to see or hear from people is that the threat's becoming is not necessarily as widespread. Well, look at this. Now we have another severe thunderstorm warning towards our south. This other portion of the storm is starting to sneak up on us, and we're going to have to stay on air a little bit longer because of the threat that continues in a new portion of the storm that we'll have to refocus on towards the south, impacting southern Pulaski County and the Rochester area. So we were following along with you with one portion of the storm, but now we have a new threat to track. And so heads up if you're in the Rochester area. That is now the new really dangerous part of the storm on the radar. This part of Kosciuszko County was not impacted by round one of the storm. And so we're going to have to stay on air here from the Buffalo area near Monon, kind of looking in here and on towards Winnemac. So I'll do kind of a storm track. So what we're looking at is this line. I'm going to need to click on this warning and kind of just get an update on its time frame. So wind up to 60 miles per hour. Its motion currently moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. So not as fast as the first storm, but I'll kind of give an updated storm track for people in Winnemac and Rochester who kind of missed out on the first wave. And it looks something like this. And so that is the threat as we head from to Rochester by 9:13. So trying to give you about 30 minutes heads up if you're in Rochester, as this portion of the storm is beginning to work in Rochester and Winnemac. Winnemac 8:54, Rochester 9:13. If you've been following along with us, this has been an active night across our central and southern counties, really just south of South Bend, south of Elkhart, and it appears that we're gathering more and more reports of damage out of the Bourbon area and New Paris area, maybe the two worst hit spots that we have seen so far. We've not heard a lot out of Knox or the Toto area or North Webster, and we're not rooting for that, but if you have information we'd like to know, But what we are watching is this area now here in blue near Monon, so that's White County. This is a ways away from the radar, so it's saying 96 mile per hour wind, but that scan level is kind of high, so that's not a surface scan, is the important thing that you should know there. But that would be the target area that I'd be concerned with, and so it looks like something like that, as we'll kind of see this target kind of move in just like that as I kind of go back through here. So Star City to Kiwana. Star City to Kiwana. This could be another area of possible damaging wind that we'd be concerned with. So Star City up towards Kiwana. We'll stay with you right now until roughly 9 o'clock. I'm going to see how this evolves. Kristen Tyler, you have more information.
Yes. Just got more reports on the US 30 Bourbon by Cedar Road. The overturned semis. Traffic is blocked all the way up both lanes.
That's on US 30. So
Yes.
breaking tonight, we have a closure along US 30, overturned semis from strong wind on US 30 near Bourbon. That's confirming strong wind, likely in excess of 70 miles per hour. The difference of what I've seen with the storm so far tonight is it just was not that widespread wall of wind, but we had a very more narrow path that may not have been a tornado, was just a very intense portion of the storm, similar to what we're seeing here as we focus in on Star City and Kiwana. Will this portion of the storm stay strong to severe as well? This will be Kiwana by 9:10, Star City by 9:02. And we'll start to get some more reports into here, but that's kind of the new focal area of this area of strong storms. So if you're now southern Pulaski County, we're kind of jumping back over the map to southern Pulaski County would be the area. Here's the other area of concern that we've been watching now through LaGrange and nearly out of our area as we continue on. We'll kind of cycle through all these warnings here once again of what the current updates are. But our severe threat isn't quite over yet, but it does continue as I kind of want to cycle through. And now is the time, especially as we head through 9 o'clock. I'd like to use you, the viewer at home, to help us, again, gather more information on the damage reports that are out there. Here's the update. Currently, here is the severe thunderstorm warning that will expire soon for LaGrange County. This is the new update for wind up to 60 and a possible tornado for Pulaski and Fulton counties that works its way up to Rochester. TBD on how that will play out, but it's a storm that we are currently watching. If you're in the rest of the area, I would say from LaPorte to South Bend to Elkhart, your severe threat is likely over, but we still have to watch some of our southern counties for what could be a second surge of storms. But the worst of the weather is nearly through. In fact, the rain almost done falling in South Bend. This has been admittedly a very uneventful evening of weather in South Bend, but we're still concerned about our viewers far to the south, especially as we've had multiple targets of a possible tornado and multiple targets of damaging wind with confirmed reports, which appears to be the epicenter in the Bourbon area tonight. Everyone has had some amount of rain or storm move through. If you just had power knocked out again, if you know of damage and you can safely assess it, our Facebook Live is open. Again, we just want to know your approximate location, tell us the town, what the damage is, so we can, again, move our crews around to try to assess that as we go through tonight and into tomorrow. So that's something that we're going to watch fairly closely. Strong thunderstorms still kind of trailing through, and this is the next little wave that we're watching to the south of Winnemac. So for most of us, if you're in LaPorte County, if you're in Stark, St. Joseph, Cass, Berrien County, severe threat is coming to an end. But we can't rule out, as we watch this part start to drag through, how it might impact an area from Winnemac to Rochester, south of Warsaw. Again, this is an ongoing long round of storms, and that has to do with a snaking front that it's kind of evolving and moving through and has been somewhat problematic. So here is the storm track on this wave, Winnemac by 8:54, so 4 minutes, then on towards the Rochester area after that, so that'll be around 9:15, and we'll see how much this really starts to hold together. probably the most concerning area I see is probably this area of Indiana 119 leading up to Star City and Winnemac, near the juncture with 35, would be a target that it's so far away from the radar, it's hard to see much else. What was that? We have pictures now confirming of that damage on US 30 coming in out of Marshall County near the Kosciuszko County line. So this is near Bourbon. US 30 is closed, multiple semis knocked over. You're looking at the first pictures we have coming in of storm damage near Bourbon. Semis blown over from winds estimated up to 70 miles per hour, knocking over those semis along US 30 as severe storms roll through tonight. This is why we've been on air for so long. That threat was noticeable, cutting across much of the area. It was not as widespread, but that was our concern tonight on the heels of course, Sunday storms, which were more widespread and a threat for a greater amount of the area. But it appears that the town of Bourbon and the area around Bourbon, Bourbon to Etna Green, on towards New Paris, is probably the hardest hit portion of our area, at least right now. So pictures that you're seeing right now, just in here at 8:52 of semis blown over along US 30. So we're continuing to track, again, the severe weather across our area tonight. Come back to the picture here, 8:52, looking at the watches and warnings. This warning will soon be retracted or will move off towards the east. We'll clear LaGrange County, and now we're kind of what we call babysitting the Winnemac and Rochester area for their threat of severe weather. Here's the current radar picture. If you're hearing my tone, again, we're kind of at an ease point right now where we're gathering more information. Really what I want to hear is from you on our Facebook Live feed. If you have pictures, you can use our First Warning weather app. You can submit pictures that way, but we're now into gathering more information. How much damage do you have? One, take care of your immediate needs first. Don't go out looking for damage, but if you know of something that you could forward on valid information that we can confirm, let us know. But I know we have crews headed to Bourbon and crews headed likely towards the New Paris area right now to confirm more as far as the damage goes. Here's the current radar picture. Again, this is the movement of these storms cutting across LaGrange County, and then the next wave that's beginning to work its way up into Pulaski and Fulton County. So this is the next wave. We'll keep an eye on this. I'll tell you this, we're gonna stay with this until at least 9 o'clock. We may end our coverage at 9 o'clock if this does not look like it's working past a severe threshold. This does not look by comparison to be as bad as the first round that has moved through, as it's kind of following up on the tails on the southern half of this boundary. But this is definitely still a cluster of storms south of Winnemac, Richland Center, and eventually Rochester as we head towards the 9 o'clock hour. I'll give an update on this as we continue to focus in really just on this portion of the storm right through here. So this for wind up to 60 miles per hour. Wind up to 60 miles per hour, and I'm just going to get the updated skits on this. This storm is moving to the northeast at 60 miles per hour and still has that possible threat of a tornado. I want to give people probably the biggest first warning we can on this, as is essentially traveling up US 25 on towards the Rochester area by 9:09. So I'm going to keep this up as long as possible for the next 5 minutes. This is the threat: 60 mile per hour wind gusts, Kewanna, Lighters Ford, Rochester by 9:09. So Kewanna by the top of the hour, and then on to Rochester by 9:09. If we see a reason to, this warning gets re-upped, if we start getting more reports, we'll stay on. But right now, I'll say 9 o'clock, we will end our coverage here on ABC 57. And we might keep the Facebook Live up for a little bit longer, at least just the radar picture as we go there. So if you're watching us now, we're still on air till 9 o'clock on ABC 57, and then we'll continue with Facebook Live coverage, at least in the near term there. If the threat increases, we'll be back. But this is what we're kind of watching. So what I want for you, if you're watching now, we're now to the point where people are starting to assess damage. We have crews headed towards the Bourbon area, where we have confirmation of significant damage and semis blown over, and the Etna Green area, somewhere Etna Green to Napanee, and likely New Paris. And in that area seems to be where we're having the most amount of damage. If you can give us more information on Facebook Live, I know it's getting dark right now, so that becomes more difficult. Those are the areas of top concern that we're going to continue to watch. But here we are at 8:56. Still a cluster of storms that continues to move into Fulton County, just south of Winnemac. Strong wind will be moving into Star City to Kewanna, will probably be the greatest threat right now. So about 3 minutes out. We're seeing more pictures out of Bourbon. Do you see that in the chat? Looks like Center Street and Washington Street. If you can bring that one in. I might be able to bring that one up, but just give me a moment here, and I'll try and bring this one up. Let's see. I'm going to switch over here, and I'll bring it up here in just a second. This is the picture just coming in, and I know we're kind of going up out of time here, but this is a picture just shared in our chat, in our news chat. So this is Center and Washington Street in Bourbon, and you can see that the roof of a building has been removed there. So confirmed damage in Bourbon tonight, where we've been kind of warning you about wind up to 70 miles per hour or a possible tornado. And you can see the top of this building. It looks like at least that window looks like it's completely knocked out. Some bricks removed, as again, the roof on here was probably lifted up, broke over, and then broke part of this structure here. But the street sign says Center Street and Washington Street in Bourbon tonight. And so this is kind of the information that we need from you, the viewer, is where are you, and if there is damage like this, to let us know. Our Facebook page is open. We're going through all those reports. You can email us. Again, we're easy to get a hold of. You can tweet at me if you can. I've been on air since 7 o'clock, so again, I have a lot of catching up to do, but we know we have our crews moving in this direction to report live from Bourbon tonight, where we're seeing kind of the worst of it. We have a minute to go here on ABC 57, and I just kind of want to recap what the current situation is right now as we continue on and move forward. The warnings are beginning to expire. LaGrange County now essentially clear of the warning. Watching this warning down to the south here. I'll mention this, we will stay on Facebook Live for at least a little bit to keep the radar up. But we will end our live coverage here on ABC 57, but we have the news live at 10 o'clock on the CW25, and of course at 11 here on ABC 57 with those live damage reports. I appreciate you guys kind of staying with us as the severe weather is now exiting. For the most part, the threat has diminished. It is not completely over, I'll say that, as the storm is now just starting to move in from Winnemac towards the Rochester area with another round of storms. Thank you for staying with us here on ABC 57. We'll return you back to regularly scheduled programming.